Good morning. Morning, the Fisk. Hmm. So I sat down here, saw XWM was popping up, but as soon as I sat in my chair, it rejected. Coincidence? Morning, Drews, Lauren, Human, Harris. So I suppose WXM is the most obvious thing right now. It's above the 200 moving average. It's in a window and then a gap above 20. But not quite 7 a.m. yet. We'll see if this holds up. But I would like something fresh today. I'm between Friday, yesterday, and today. I'm kind of sick of trading the backside moves of these stocks. Got Wafu, a bit cheaper. The backside of a move from Friday. Potentially some descending resistance. Okay. Maybe something like that. Morning, Vito. I saw that pretty compelling evidence posted in the scammers chat. Hey, Vito. In WAP. I believed you guys before, but morning, Eli. I'm surprised he didn't realize and deleted off his channel, because that YouTube video is still there. DJ Momentum on stream on Thursday, August 5th. Had some of his orders rejected, and it showed on stream that he was trading in a sim account. And then someone emailed support with the account name and asked if it was a sim or a live account, and they said it was a sim account. So he is indeed sim trading. At least on that day he was. DJ Momentum. He's another YouTuber who's saying that he normally, like, he sells courses and stuff, and he normally says that he's trading live, but yeah, I would say that there's enough evidence to say that he's a sim trader, considering that Vito and Eli and stuff also got banned by him before for figuring it out for another reason. I mean, it is what it is, right? There's scammers out there all the time. What do you do? Oh, you did? Yeah. He bans people who ask questions, I guess. Thanks, human. I try to show everything on stream exactly because of people like DJ. So that's why you can see I mean, I have my account name partially hidden because it's half of my login information, but um, it's obvious I'm not sim trading because trade zero, when you're sim trading, the level 2 doesn't look like this. The level 2 is just a single blue bar. I show all my orders and stuff, but so we have AIHS moving pretty quickly here, up 57%. It's still not 7 a.m. We got a minute to 7 a.m. here. It seems like that there's a bit of selling volume. I was 312. Morning, Jay. Yeah, there's a lot of suspicious stuff going on with him with DJ. So it is what it is. Well, JR is the initials of my name, so good luck finding it out. We've got some increasing volume. See if we hold $3 here. think we're holding 3, so I'm going to take a 50 share position. Stop is going to be 3. Feels like we have some selling volume. No, I scaled out too early. Now we broke down 350. We might need an extended pullback. I mean, we got a little bit of a cushion, but it feels like there's a lot of selling. That was pretty poor execution. Could have scaled up closer to 4. I'd like to see what this does. It might do a 1-minute pullback, I think. So I have a workaround now. I'm going to place my mouse over the buy button. So the low is 319. We'll take a position. Stop is going to be 340. Taking some profit. Taking some more profit. Getting back out because that's a big drop. Ended up only being a small winner because of the rejection. Wonder if I should have taken half off there. But we never know what it's going to do. So that's why we take out a little bit into the pop. And then we have to take off the rest as it's coming back down. That was pretty fast. That the last half ended up being like a 14-cent or a 16-cent loser. Kind of sucks. Overall, the trade was green, but I feel like I could have gotten more out of both of those trades. Hmm. I honestly think my execution on the very first trade was like my first scale out was kind of motivated by emotion. So I think my scale out early on my first trade was a mistake. I got 15 cents of profit on it as it kind of like it felt like it was stalling because there was a lot of selling up there. So I think I should have executed this better. Hmm. I'm not happy about my execution there. So I mean, let's see what this does. If it holds up and it curls back up, the high was 410. All right, well, I'm gonna read some chats. Well, I should continue watching this as well. I mean, maybe above 350, it could squeeze back up. Because now it's kind of a pivot. Ooh, big sellers popping up. I guess I should put WXM on my side charts as well, since it is still our leading gainer. It's come back down quite a bit now, but so we kind of reject there a little bit. Ooh, that's a nasty rejection. So I'm safe to read some chats here, I think, for a little bit. Da, da, da. JR equals Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan. That's funny. I've seen DJ losing 44K in one day. That's not a video. Yeah, I mean, that's what he does. All the things that he does. Nice job, Drews. You rate that trade 8 out of 10? I rate that my trade 5 out of 10. I think I could have gotten way more out of both of those trades. I need to go and do some VOD review. There was probably even a seller that popped up on the ask up at 4 that probably gave me an earlier exit indicator. I have to watch it back later today. But I guess at least we're green 15 so far. We got a little bit of a cushion. It didn't do nothing and you came out green. Some streamers are negative. Yeah, I guess. You need to see what the price is on the time and sales. Is there a particular reason why you need price on the time and sales? I mean, if you're using my VODs to review, I suppose I don't mind adding it if there's space, but the reason why I don't have price on the time and sales is because it the color already kind of indicates at what price it was executed at, right? If I'm watching the ask and it says at ask, then I know that it's being executed at 306 in that moment as it's in the corner of my peripheral vision. And I think it's like very hard to read the time and sales as it's printing really quickly. So usually the prices just kind of clog the space for me because I don't actually read the time in cells. I read the colors on the time of cells in my peripheral vision and the speed of the tape as it's printing. I don't read the share sizes. I mean, the highlights just mean to me that they're executing above 1,000 shares, and it gets brighter the bigger it is, the bigger the block is. So green means good, price go up, but not sure about adding price into it. Morning, Chimera. Yeah, that's why I don't like trading with like Webull or Questrade because they don't have advanced hotkeys for like scaling out and stuff. You forgot to change the stock. It happens to everyone. It happens to me too sometimes. I should have it for hidden sellers, but I can normally find hidden sellers just by the behavior of the price action. Like if it's bouncing up against Hive Day, for example, up against 410, normally what happens when there's hidden sellers is that price will bounce right underneath Hive Day or underneath the next closest level of psychological resistance, like 4. It'll like break 4 for an instant and then get shoved back down by a burst of selling, and then it'll, you know, pop up, get shoved back down. It'll do that over and over and over again without any big ask, like without any big sellers on the tape on the ask. I see that pretty often. So I'm not sure why I would need price to be able to see hidden sellers unless I'm missing something. Morning, Troy. Yeah, Webull, Canada's Webull is garbage. By the way, I think I just learned recently that even TradeZero's Canada platform is different from the US. I think the US has some different hotkeys that Canada doesn't have as well, which is really, it's actually annoying the heck out of me. Because I was searching the other day for workarounds to my load order problem. And apparently, the TradeZero has some hotkeys in the US for like focusing your level 2 and like some hotkey to remap your execution button from enter. Which is just not available on TradeZero Canada Pro. So MACD is still negative. So we kind of have a pivot above 362. Well, that kind of dumped. When you're looking at a breakout of a level, say 3.5. Maybe I can give that a shot. If you time in sales prints the same price and lots of volume. Oh, really? Trading on Ross, new sim. Stuck in a position will not let me cover. Short sale restriction means that you can only short on an uptick, right? I don't know very much about shorting. I don't honestly look too much into, like, I've never done it before. Short sale restriction means that I know that it means that there's certain requirements that it only lets you like sell on an uptick, but there shouldn't be restrictions for covering, should there? Yeah, that's what I thought, Chimera. They normally have a chat. I think they have a support chat room, don't they? I'm pretty sure they have support chat during the day. You might be able to ask a question in there. Probably be better than asking my stream as your support chat. I don't know very much about that stuff. But I think they do. Let me open up and see. I'm curious if Ross traded earlier anyways. Probably did trade on this stock. Yeah, they do have a support chat. Oh wow, Ross, no trades. Maybe he was just sitting down when this started moving. Interesting. No, he's got no trades yet. All right, let's close that back out. I'm not tempted to watch. So MACD is still negative here. It's popping up. So my workaround to my enter button problem is that I downloaded Razer Synapse for my keyboard to update my keyboard software, and then also I remapped my numpad enter button to left click. So I have to move my mouse over the buy button, and now I can use the numpad enter as my click. What type of sub? Well, I bought the course back in September or October of last year, the pro course, and you get one free year of community mentoring, which is access to the live streams. I don't have any subs with Warrior Trading right now. Once that expires, I probably won't renew it. Too expensive. And I don't keep them up on the side very much anymore, except to check what he's trading a little bit earlier if he made any of the trades that I did. I gotta do a little bit of meditation or something. I just feel antsy today. I don't know why. Yeah, I've gone through everything in the pro course. I've done a significant amount of time with it. Um, Ross isn't the only one that I try to listen to either. I spend a lot of time watching YouTube videos from other content creators and stuff, and now I'm buying books and I'm reading books as well. I'm trying to learn as much as I can from as many trustworthy sources as possible. The only problem is that there aren't very many trustworthy sources. And when I'm looking at trading online, there's so many futures traders and large cap traders trading like the S&P 500 and gold and stuff. And not very many are either giving like good educational content verified that they're profitable, and they're either what Momentum Trader likes to call Lamborghini gurus. Kev, I think a couple of my friends in the day traders hang out, watch Kev. I probably got to look into him. I think Doom Trades is studying Kev's strategy right now. There are really a lot of scammers, but there's a lot of scammers in anything now. The Fisk. It's kind of gross how many like you equate scammers to someone that is trying to do something in a dishonest manner to gain an advantage over others in life. You can equate that to like cheaters in gaming. There's a billion of them now. They're just nonstop. I've come across scammers in the fitness industry peddling their fake fitness products and stuff, or like fitness courses. There's apparently there's a rise of cheaters in like university and college because of AI. Pretty gross. But I mean, I don't want to be all negative on stream. It is what it is, but sad to see. I think Ross's small cap momentum, if you have the ability to do it, it's probably one of the more difficult strategies compared to being a systematic trader or at trading a strategy that is very simple. But it does have the potential to build a small account, which is hard to say that you can with like large caps or futures where you need a 50K account just to trade like 5 shares. So I would say that it does have it does have its merits in that. And also there's less competition here with all the algorithms trading large caps. WXM is popping here a little bit, but we're really far below the highs of 1173. Like, we pulled back really far. So I don't think that there's a buy on this for me unless it can break back over maybe 11, maybe the previous high, 1069. You can't pay the pro course, Chimera, too expensive. I mean, you don't need the pro course. I bought it because I was very new to trading at the time and I wanted a structured educational type of system after I took the trial and I verified that Ross was live streaming his trades and he was legit and doing research. I wanted to learn as much as I possibly could as fast as I possibly could. And so the course was the best option because I could afford it personally. So you don't absolutely need it. There are some advantages to having it, but it was a nice pop from 980 all the way up to 1050. These pullbacks were actually kind of nice. But you're going to be lower probability taking them because there are going to be a lot of bag holders on the way up here. Mighty Stock YouTube got banned. I'm not sure who that is. I've seen the Relentless Trader channel, but it was hard for me to confirm if they were legit or not since they don't show everything on stream. At least the person that I watched, only he basically was trading off of like one chart, and he didn't really show anything else. Because I know that there's a bunch of different traders on the Relentless Trader channel. Once again, a nice kind of pullback there, but now we're starting to get closer to the highs up here. We're a little bit expensive at this point, possibly a little bit extended. What a nasty jackknife. Hmm. Yeah, I don't know what to do about that. It's just another Chinese stock with no news that's got a bunch of sellers up there. I mean, for this reason is why it's difficult for me to touch it on the curl, right? Because it just made a move, broke through the highs, and then it did a rejection and came all the way back down to VWAP. So there's clearly a lot of sellers on this. I'm surprised it even had these nice moves in the pop. Hey, you caught that move? Nice job, Island. The way it popped, it looked like Ross took a position. Yeah, it is possible. He probably did. Mighty Stocks is Marcelo? Oh, okay. Hey, Illyria. Oh, yeah, 4 to 5K seller. That would make sense. Future doctors using AI to get through med school? Yeah, that's concerning when you put it that way, Drews. I personally would not trust AI doctors to operate on me. Not right now, at least. Maybe in the future, but I think that it needs more time. They're legit. Okay. Well, I'll pay more attention to that channel then. Hmm. That was a big pullback. Big selling candle. So I think this would need to continue holding and then break 270. Yeah, I did see his recap yesterday, and honestly, like I was watching that pivot as well on JWEL. Um, maybe I should have bought to anticipate the break of the pivot because once it broke the pivot, it spiked up 20 cents. I was kind of looking for the break in the hold of the pivot, but it broke the pivot and it just spiked without me really, really quickly, like too quickly past my limit order position. So maybe I should have bought around like the 30 cent area. I don't remember exactly what the price was, but I think it was like the break of the $0.50 or something there. So maybe like around 30 cents to anticipate the break of the pivot. And then that would have been a really nice trade. I was watching it, but it didn't go as I expected and just pulled away. Probably part of the reason why it did pull away so quickly is because Ross bought it probably with 80,000 shares. That's still one of the troubles that I've been trying to figure out is whether to buy to anticipate or to buy for the hold. It kind of depends on what the stock is doing. So I feel like I need some educated intuition whether to buy after it holds on the pullback or buy to anticipate the break. Yeah, depends on the stock and your max loss. I agree, but it's just difficult to, I guess in hindsight, the stock moves $3, right? And then you're like, well, I should have bought to anticipate because obviously it went without me. That's hindsight. Like, what is the correct decision in that moment? And that's what I'm still trying to figure out, like before the breakout. You hold a lot less longer now, tend to anticipate and get out fast. Yeah, for sure. I agree. Yeah, I've been trying to get in more on dips. What I've been doing is I've been getting in earlier and earlier. Like, if I think I should get in early, I probably should get in earlier than I believe I should. To anticipate what the stock's going to do rather than react to what the stock is doing. So I was curious if this was going to go haywire for the break of $1. Ross talked in his recap the other day about how sometimes the break of $1 sends a stock going crazy. But it didn't do it this time. Yeah, no problem, Lee. This is actually our second leading gainer, and there's nothing else happening right now. Enters fast-growing global lactoferrin market. Well, it seems to be reacting well. I'm curious, so like if this breaks 111, if this holds $1 and then breaks 111, which is kind of a flat top, would this be in traders' focus because of how quickly the penny stock the other day moved? The only concern I have is that it now has a history of jackknifing here. So like 111 down to 84 cents in two 10-second candles. It has room up to 174, which is a 200. No, I think it's the right decision not to touch it. It has a bit of a higher float. It's a cheaper price. The 200 is kind of close, and it has a history of jackknifing. I'm curious to see if it does pull away if it breaks 111, but I think it's not the right stock to trade. Kind of got four points against it right now for me. I don't believe ChartsWatcher can link with TradeZero. Someone told me that I might be able to because they have their API available, but a quick search told me that I can't do that with TradeZero. I know that you can with Webull and a few others. There's not much reason for me to either. Okay, like I don't. My workflow is already pretty fast. I can just click on the scanner and then I type in the symbol. Like that's not too bad. TDIC doesn't have any volume. Yeah, I mean, I only need to type in the ticker one time if I'm interested in trading the stock or not. Like for example, AIHS pops up, right? I click on it on the scanners with my mouse. It pulls up the symbol automatically because I have it linked. And then if I'm interested in the ticker or not, then I can choose to pull it up on the level 2. But I already type very fast. Like, I don't find that my workflow has ever been lacking speed in that regard. It doesn't take very long to just click on the level 2 and type in the ticker. It's not something I'm really that worried about necessarily. Let's make sure I change my stock. Yeah. I don't think I've ever had that problem though, because um, it's very rare for the stock that I have up to be the exact same price as the stock on the charts. So I normally look at the spreads and then I would notice right away that the price isn't matching. Install AutoHotkey? Yeah, I suppose I could. Oh man. Have you guys ever felt like your face is just tense? I don't know what is going on with me today. I've been trying to close my eyes and do a little bit of meditation here in the stream, but my face just feels tense. Very odd feeling. I mean, this is popping up again, WXM. But now we have, a couple of jackknives. I don't know. It feels like this is like a stock pump, and then they're just sweeping liquidity when it reaches the highs. That's kind of what it feels like on WXM. I'm actually curious if Ross took that trade on WXM or not. Let me open it back up. No, he didn't. Still no trades for him. Very surprising. Uh, Vito says, I use my Apple Watch to do respirations using the mindfulness app. Yeah. Normally I don't need that. Normally I'm very calm in the morning. But I think I have a little bit more energy today than I normally do. It might not seem like it, but I slept 2 hours in the middle of the day yesterday, and then I still managed to go to sleep at 10 and pretty much sleep soundly all the way up until I had to get up at 6 a.m., which isn't normal for me. And normally I have to wake up a bunch of times in the middle of the night. Yeah, I'm drinking coffee as well. Normally I normally I hit like some sort of balance because I'm tired and then I drink coffee and then I'm just okay. But I guess if I have more energy and I drink coffee, then I'm jittery. I feel tense. I'm gonna have to start exercising or something again. I'm just gonna have to force myself to find time to do it. I stopped last year. I was exercising for like a good year and a half. Then when I bought my house and we were doing rental renovations and stuff, I ended up stopping for a while. I'm probably gonna have to get used to doing it again. It is true being human. A big loss is indeed a story to tell. If I told my parents that story, though, they'd call me a crazy gambler. Maybe in the background here, I should get a pull-up bar, and every time I mess up a trade, I gotta go do pull-ups. Have a good one, adversary. Nice job with the Green Day. Yeah, we're growing pretty quickly here. It's pretty nice. We're very close to 500 subs. And then I'm gonna have to figure out how to set up some donation stuff. My parents sit at the fire with me? Of course they do. I don't really go camping with anybody else. I'm a internet degenerate, so I don't have very many real life friends. I have one friend from high school that I occasionally go golfing with, and like some coworker buddies that I go golfing with sometimes. Pretty much it. And then I have my internet friends. So what I would do, actually, this is actually what I started doing back when I wanted to fix my discipline before I started streaming. I have I have an elliptical in the other room, and whenever I made a mistake in my discipline, like I did something stupid, I would go run on the bike for 10 minutes, and then every single time that I made a mistake after that, I would add an extra minute to the time that I was forced to run on the elliptical. So if after 10 mistakes, I would be adding another 10 minutes. It'd be up to 20, and it would keep getting longer and longer and longer until I was dying. Because it was reminding me that I can make afford to make any more mistakes. I see FRTT, but I mean it is an acquisition headline, but it's cheaper as well. This might be blue sky above like 4. Hmm. I wasn't sure about this one. Like it's a little bit cheaper and it wasn't very like its percentage on the day wasn't up very much down here. Kind of had a bigger pullback there as well. But I mean that would have been a nice pop from 40 up to 70. But I was looking at this daily resistance here as well at 44. We have a high of 180 or so, 79. Hmm. That's a big pop. Wow. I think that can count as a missed opportunity, honestly. I think I should have bought for the break of 170. Had a little bit of a flat top at 170. Yeah, that's a missed opportunity. And now the chart's a little bit ruined with that big shooting star candle. Hmm. Yeah, we have to add this one to the missed opportunities list. I'm not sure what it's going to do right here with this big shooting star candle. I have a feeling it's just going to get shorted off of 250. Yeah, you have to pay a subscription for Trade Zero Pro, right? And like $50 Canadian is for Trade Zero Canada. Nice job on whoever caught the pop there. Yeah, nice job, ETFU, HITFU, and GV. I have to add this one in the missed opportunities list. I hesitated on that pullback. Yeah, the move was already over by the time it pulled back. The Now this has got some sympathy momentum. But the opportunity was on this curl back up. So it popped up, pulled back, held the 9 EMA, and it bounced twice off the 9 EMA. You could kind of call this an ABCD pattern on the on the 10-second, but it was also a flat top because there were a couple of bumps up against 170, and then when it finally broke and held is when it popped, or when it broke that previous pivot level of 179. You could call that the entry as well. But I think I should have bought this second pullback at 150 as it held 150. That was definitely a part of my setups. Even though it was a bit cheaper, it was moving fairly well. Had some decent range. And we were above that previous daily level, so we were in this window. Ross probably traded that, right? Yeah, he did. He got in above $2, it looks like. He got in around 240, 250. That is one thing I need to start doing, is if it starts moving quickly, I can't like wait for a pullback. Like right there, it did speed up, and I was like thinking like, well, maybe it's gonna do a pullback. But even if I miss the early entry, sometimes you just kind of need to jump in, even if it's with smaller share size in case it does pull back as soon as you jump in. But if it's popping up that quickly, sometimes you just need to punch it. You could call that chasing, I guess, but as long as you're not buying the top and you recognize very early on that it's moving quickly, that it's probably gonna continue for a little while at least. I don't know. I don't know. What's done is done. I missed the move. Like, what was my reason for hesitating? It was this selling candle. I think I need to screen out this previous action if there's a big selling candle and it continues to hold. Similar to that move from the other day where, although it's a big selling candle, it just shows that there's a lot of buying support if it holds the 9 EMA this tightly. So something to keep an eye on is when a stock with breaking news pops up and it holds the 9 EMA like this. As it creeps up. Have a good one, Drews. Well, we'll see if we get another opportunity. I'm pretty disappointed with my performance today. Between my shoddy execution on AIHS and then just missing that entire move on FRTT. But there's something going on with my just state of being today. I don't know what it is. So that could be part of it. I don't know. But we have to be careful not to FOMO in anything and lose even just the $15 green day that we have. Yeah, we're just sitting tight for now. We're going to see if the opportunity gives us, the market gives us another opportunity. Words are hard. You were up by a lot, and when you were excited, I didn't, because I did use the bailout. Yeah, win some, you lose some. Oh yeah, you sell on the ask. Let's see. There's a good example if Jaden is in the stream, because Jaden asked me this question in my stream YouTube comments, or yeah, my YouTube comments recently about like selling on the ask versus selling on the bid. Sometimes it happens, right? Right now, I have my hotkey that I'm using primarily to sell on the bid instead of selling on the ask, even though I'm aware that most, like, if you're good at executing very consistently and quickly, selling on the ask is going to net you more profits generally. But right now I've just been using like sell on the bid because of situations exactly like that where you throw out your order on the ask, but you happen to throw it out at the wrong time as it's reversing, and then suddenly you're down like 50 cents or $1 a share because you weren't quick enough to cancel your order and get out on the bid. Rather than taking profit just on the bid right away so that you don't, like with an offset, so you don't have to worry about it not getting filled, and focusing on the process of like just normal execution and getting good entries and good exits. But selling on the ask is something that I'm going to be coming back to, like when I'm focusing on my actual execution about scaling in and out of trades. But that's a very good example of why I don't use sell on the ask very much right now. Yeah, I know Rask usually does too, and a lot of people do. And yeah, yeah, for sure, Chimera. I'm definitely aware of that. But like selling on the ask, especially when there's big spreads, you get some extra cents out of it, cents per share out of it. But like when my executions get jammed up, it can be a bit of a problem. So if I'm trying to get out on the ask and then it doesn't fill, like if it's stalling out and then I get greedy, for example, and I keep trying to sell on the ask, and then the stock suddenly drops 20 cents because it's been stalling out for too long, like that's an issue as well. I've just been finding that like right now, just selling on the bid, even into strength while I'm focusing on other things, is keeping my head in a space to focus on the process. And then later on when I do advanced scaling in and out of trades, I can bring back selling on the ask because that's going to be my focus in improvement is going to be how to execute and scale in and out of trades while maximizing my green days. But for right now, it's kind of like I don't even want to deal with my orders just sometimes not getting filled and then having to deal with that psychological greed of like, oh, well, I want to sell on the ask and then have the stock drop like 50 cents in the time that my orders don't get filled. And then I'm kind of like stuck with FOMO for a day because my order didn't get filled. And I'm like, well, I should have just sold on the bid, you know? I think it's different for everyone, but that's kind of how I feel about it right now. Don't I think the fees of TradeZero are too high? I think they're expensive, but I don't have many other options. Like, my other options are to trade with Webull and forfeit a lot of my hotkeys to enter and exit positions quickly. Because Webull Canada doesn't have the same hotkeys that US does. Or trade with Questrade, which has the same problem and also doesn't show halt resumption levels or halt little D levels. So I don't have any other options. But I do think that sometimes when you're playing with better software, it can save you some cents per share in your executions just by the nature of how fast you can enter and exit positions compared to other platforms. So and I only take a few trades per day, so I really don't think the fees are that bad. Yeah, I know about that, Chimera. That's more of a problem for when you're trading with larger share size. So that's something for me to worry about later, I think. Like I did start with using sell on the ask. Like sell half or sell one third into the ask into strength. Um, but I suppose it was more of a problem when I was a greedier person, like back 4 or 5 months ago, because I found that having that button, like I still have it, but I don't use it as much because I've just been using a singular button. But whenever I had that button and I was trying to sell on the ask and it wouldn't fill and I would cancel it and try to redo it, it was like a greedy button. And then sometimes I wasn't like articulate enough in my execution that I would press it at the wrong time, like as it's bouncing off of a level. Say a stock goes all the way up to uh like $3 from $2. I would try to press it right as it's bouncing off of 3 and then the order wouldn't get filled and it just comes back 50 cents and then that would enrage me. Because then I would be forced to sell on the bid 50 cents lower anyways. So why not just sell on the bid up close to that level as possible? The other solution would be to be quicker, right? And just sell, maybe set like as it's approaching 3, maybe set a 10-cent profit target. Like that's a potential. But that all comes down to like being very confident with your execution. And I think being confident with the process first can translate into better execution later when you actually introduce those extra things to make your green days even bigger. This is my opinion. I probably will add sell on the ask back soon as my focus switches more to scaling. Because then my focus will be on improvement of my execution. But for now, it's still like my hesitation in getting in on good entries and then having good exits. Why did I start streaming before becoming consistently profitable? Um, well, I posted a YouTube video a few months back when I first started streaming explaining why I did. Um, and there are a few reasons. First reason is because it's lonely trading by yourself. Second reason is that it's nice to be held accountable for certain things. And I was starting stream trading with a risk oriented mindset for the first time. I mentioned it before, but when I first started streaming, I was doing a breakout or bailout like 10 cent arbitrary stop to get in the habit of just cutting my losses and get out of the habit of holding and hoping and doing all that sort of stupid nonsense that makes you stay unprofitable. So there was accountability, community, and then there's, you know, I want to be self-employed in the future, and streaming would be nice for a little bit of extra supplemental income for donations, so that I'm not, if I want to go full time with streaming in the future, if I do become consistently profitable, some people underestimate how extra revenue streams would really help your mentality because you're not feeling like if you're in a drawdown that you might not be able to pay your bills. At least you have something extra coming for you. Most people who are consistently profitable aren't, they're not going to be millionaire like Ross, at least not for a long time. So, you know, that factor does play into it, although I'm not really planning on heavily monetizing or selling courses or anything like that. And then the last reason would be like all the fake gurus out there. If I become profitable and then I pop up out of nowhere, people are going to question where I came from. So on my live stream, every single day on my Trader View is streamed live, right? I don't do off stream trading. So if anyone questions me, they can just go back to do a stream on a particular day when I show my metrics. What does my P&L curve look like? I'll show it in a second here. It's just past 8:30, so I'm watching some news. But it doesn't look like we really have anything. Let me open up my Trader View. Yeah, it doesn't look like we have anything, so I'll just show it on the stream for you. Doesn't matter. Um, I mean, this is the first week of August, or the second week, I guess. But we had a $97 green day last week, and we've been doing pretty well in the past couple of weeks. So overall, I mean, over 230 trades since the end of March. We have March, April, May, June, July, and then just beginning of August for our metrics from when I started streaming. So we're basically break even at this point. You know, almost a little bit like 1.5 to 1 profit to loss, 43 to 55. In the last 30 days, we've been having like 50-50 with almost a 2 to 1. I guess this is more like a 1.5 to 1 still, profit loss. $76 total gain or loss in the past 30 days. You know, not too bad. Still getting eaten by commissions. But the drawdown overall, I get rid of that. That's not correct. Refresh that. Looks like this. So we had some beginner's luck when we first started streaming. We popped up, and then we went in a big downtrend, a big drawdown, right? In the past couple of months since June 16th, we've been going sideways. We popped up, broke even, came back down, popped up, broke even again, came back down, and now we're back on uptrend, breaking this peak there. And then we lost $35 at the end of last week. This is all gross. Half of this was sim trading, half of this was real money, but towards this half where I'm going sideways is where I'm trading real money. Like I haven't traded with sim. Like there might be 5 days of sim in the middle here somewhere, but most of this since probably June was, yeah, pretty much all this was real money. And then on this later half. So I'm hoping that we continue going on uptrend here. We had a red day yesterday, which is pretty much canceled out by the $15 green day that I have today, as long as I don't take another losing trade. So this is pretty much where we're at since last week. Still in a drawdown technically, since we're so far below that beginner's luck that I had, but at least we're going sideways now, potentially going back on uptrend, hopefully. If I look at my metrics for the last 2 months, so August, so since like June 11th to August 11th, which is today. Then that's a pretty good profit to loss ratio. But I need to work on my accuracy, and I'm missing a lot of opportunities. 106 total gain. So we're barely break even with commissions in the past couple of months. But it's mostly due to my quality standard giving me a good profit loss ratio. But I've missed a lot of opportunities that could have bumped up this accuracy. Sometimes I find myself trading on the backside of the moves after the missing the good stuff, and then like on hesitation, and then kind of jumping in with FOMO on the backside, which is hurting my accuracy. Thanks, thanks, Zamale. That's how you pronounce it. I've been trading for a year, 12 months. Below 100 shares, they charge a flat fee of 50 cents for each order, so it's about $1 per trade. We'll go back to 4 years of grinding. I hope it doesn't take me 4 years. I think I'm doing pretty well after just 1 year. But who knows, right? It could take me that long. But I mean, 4 years to become profitable. I think that's generally pretty good. I think that's generally in line with some of the timelines I've been hearing from other traders as well. Is it takes like 3 to 4 years. But congrats on you for sticking to it for 4 years. 2 years is the average, the Fisk says. I think Ross once said that it's more like 3 years. Like 1 year is the milestone to prove that you kind of have the metal to actually stay in the game. Most traders are gone by 1 year. Like they blow up their account or they get depressed and they leave or they just stop trading. Something happens within 1 year. 2 years is kind of like where you start becoming a break-even trader, and then 3 years is like where you start maybe seeing a little bit of profitability. I think that's what he said in one of his videos, if I remember correctly. When you turned profitable, you earned all the money you lost for you in just 2 months. Wow. I guess it's I saw something recently in Lance Breitstein's or Lance B's video where he said that it's like it's like boiling a pot of water, right? You boil it for a while and you don't see anything in the water, but once it starts boiling and you can see it, that's when everything happens all at once. You don't see the when you're not profitable, you don't see the gains while the water is boiling, like while it's heating up. But once it's boiling, suddenly you see it in your P&L and it just shoots up. Congrats on that though, Zanole. Secrets not to give up, exactly. Here I was thinking it was a get rich quick scheme. Where's my money? I paid for Ross's $4,000 course. I deserve my money back now. That course was a scam. I'm still losing money. This has a bit too high of a float and it looks too choppy. I see this moving, but It's right underneath the 200 moving average. I don't normally like trading penny stocks. You started 5K account and ended up losing 8K over the first 2 years. Yeah. In that Excel sheet, like Momentum Trader is saying, losing money is the cost of your education. It might be a little bit controversial, but I think in the uh, education progress sheet that I'm making, like the track sheet, the 4 different tracks, I'm probably gonna have people use a throwaway account by like month 4 and say straight up like this is the cost of your education. Like you need to go live with real money after finishing all of your learning with a throwaway account, and just assume that whatever money you put into that account is gone. Like trade it as though you want to grow it, but just assume that whatever you put in there is going to go away. Um, like if you fund it with whatever you're comfortable with losing, like if it's $100, it's $100. If it's $500, it's $500. Just don't put in 25K to lose 25K, because that's just stupid. But like if you want to fund it with $1,000, go ahead. But that's a throwaway account. 4 months after you do everything you possibly can to learn, and you build your playbook, you build your strategy that you're going to trade with, you got to go in there with that throwaway account, trade it like it's like you're going to grow it, and then realize that this isn't as easy as you thought it was. And then you have to go back to the sim and treat psychology seriously. Now that you have an idea of like what your issues are, you want to go back into the sim and work on them, and then you come back to real money prepared later on when you have some success again in the simulator, building some good habits. Because I think that people really do need an experience of losing money to understand how serious trading really is and how difficult it is. But they want to be doing it with money that they're comfortable losing. They don't want to, I wouldn't want people studying for 6 months, going into a simulator and seeing that they're like, wow, I'm making this so much money. I'm going to fund a 25K account. And then they just lose it all in their very first experience of trading live with real money. That's something that I don't want to happen. I would want people to fund a small account, realize it's a throwaway account, and then realize how serious it can actually be. That seems like minimizing the damage to me. But it would be like, fund it with 500 or $1,000, and you're not allowed to refund that. Once you lose maybe like 60% of the account size, or like half of it, say like half, you lose 50% of the account, that's a blown account, you're going back to the sim. Yeah, exactly. ETFU and Eli. I agree. So we got 10 minutes to 9 a.m. Um, I'm still watching to see if anything pops up while I'm talking here, but I don't see anything interesting. So I'm just sitting tight. Yeah, it is just a numbers game if you can treat it like that. But for some people who are starting out for the first time, me included, right? Like, my idea of a throwaway account is based on my own experience. Like, I jumped into trading, kind of snubbing the psychology part, right? I thought, well, I don't have any issues with that. I'm generally a calm person. Like, I shouldn't have any issues with executing. But I was wrong. And I traded with a 1,000, like a $400 account at first, and then I blew it up, and then I went back to a simulator, and then after going to a simulator I went back to live, and then I blew it up again, and then I did it again, and then I was like, well, now I'm just kind of losing money. I need to go back to a simulator and actually treat this seriously. It was that realization of emotions are actually affecting my trading, and I need to deal with them to make any more progress, because I've already done all of the learning that I possibly could. So there's only one explanation as to why I can't continue progressing. It's experience and psychology. And so that's the point where I went back to a simulator. I just did the breakout or bailout mentality. 5-10 cents, cutting my losses like 5-10 cent stops no matter what. That's not a profitable strategy because you need to make your stops make sense, but it's just to build the habit at first, and then I built onto that habit. So 5-10 cent stops, breakout or bailout, and I realized with a 5 or 10 cent stop that there were other bad habits that I picked up along the way. Like, my entries weren't good, because if I'm getting stopped out immediately, that means that my entries are the wrong timing. Because most of those trades that work, they work right away. The best trades work in your favor right away. My accuracy got terrible. My profit loss ratio increased, but my accuracy got terrible. So it made me realize some, and I think that's still in my description too. I probably need to change my description at this point, but just seriously doing that habit in a simulator, and then like focusing on my psychology part, made me realize a lot of bad habits. But I needed that experience with real money to understand that those were the issues. And then I could go back to the simulator to fix them. And then once I come back and with those habits built with real money, then I could explore to see if I could continue trading as if I were trading in the simulator, and then really pay attention to making sure that I wasn't doing the stupid. And now my issue is kind of the opposite side of the spectrum. Rather than like just over trading and holding and hoping, now it's more like, now I'm being too cautious. Sometimes I just need to punch the button, and I'm not doing it. But I do think that it's important to have some throwaway accounts and actually experience the feelings that come with trading before you ever size up. And as well, the timing of reading those psychology books as well is important. Like, if you have someone start in a simulator for 6 months and you tell them to read psychology books during that time, they're not going to understand it, or they're not going to have the same feeling they would as if they read those after, like, an extreme example of someone losing their entire investment. If someone loses $50,000 trading after trading for a couple of years, the impact that that psychology book is going to have on them as they read it is going to be different than someone who is brand new, has only been trading in a simulator, and they've never really experienced trading live. So I see this curling WXM. But I mean, this is a stock that's already jackknifed a couple of times. You're doing the punch the button campaign yourself? Have a good one, the Fisk. Yeah, that's exactly why my missed opportunities tally is on the side here. The tallies is for the process. If there was something in the process that I should have pressed the button on and I didn't, then it goes in the tally. And then as that gets bigger and bigger, right now it's at 20, which is disgusting. A lot of them are from like tech issues. Maybe like I think 6 or 7 of them are from tech issues. But it's still gross to look at that on the side. When I sit down every day, that reminds me that I need to stop being a pansy and just press the button when it needs to be pressed for my process, right? Every single one of those opportunities represents at least a 50-cent move. Like I missed $10 per share on 50 shares so far at the minimum. Some of them are more than that. Some of them are $2 to $3 moves. Yeah, I agree, human, is that the simulator can give you a false sense of confidence. Your fills execute immediately, and you don't feel the emotions that come with it, so you're executing, you know, kind of in a vacuum. And then for the first time, someone trading with if someone gets that false confidence and then they just jump straight into a 25K account, they're going to be sorely disappointed. This is kind of interesting. We're popping up here below 1068, and we have a lighter volume selling candle. Low is 1030. Um, but once again, I'm a little bit concerned by the fact that this is a stock that has previously jackknifed a couple of times. So the high was 1173. Oh, look at that. Look at that. When it pops up to like 1170, there's suddenly just a huge bunch of sellers up there. New high is 1184. I'll take a position since we broke through there. Take some profit as it popped up $1.50. We'll see if it continues. Low of this pullback was 1271. No, it's a lot of selling. It's gonna get out. So when it pulled back that much and it still got bought up through high of day, I took the position there for the squeeze. And it did squeeze, but there's still a ton of sellers up there. Very choppy. We took a little bit of profit up at 13, which is $2.5 per share. We got a little bit of extra profit off of that, but I wanted to hold the rest because this is something that it did have the potential to go parabolic since we're in this window all the way up to $15, right? Like you could say like, oh, I should have just exited at 13. And yeah, it is true that there is some ascending resistance there. That I didn't see. So you're correct. Maybe I should have taken a bit more profit up here. Maybe I should have scaled out half because of this ascending resistance that I didn't see. But it still did have the potential to go parabolic if it broke 14. But at least we got a little bit extra. I just punched it with 20 shares because it's a higher price stock. A bit riskier. This one popped up, but I'm still deciding whether or not like I should have bought around 11 because you know, this stock hasn't been particularly clean. And it kind of shows up here as it broke through and then popped up to ascending resistance and then sold all the way back down. But under normal circumstances, this would be an entry right here for the hold of $11 on that pullback. I think I'm not going to add that to the missed opportunities tally because I was like wary that this was going to be another jackknife potentially as it popped up, and it almost did. But I'm not entirely sure. Like if I entered here, I would have gotten stopped out on that pullback anyways, and then I would have re-entered up here. Would have just been a tiny winner. Thanks, Marks. I mean, it's nice and I'm up 26 bucks, but I think my execution today has been terrible. I think I'm not happy about today, even if it is a green day, because it could have been much bigger if I had captured FRTT, because I was in it, that was part of my setups, and I just didn't press the button. But I mean, I've done all right. Well, I mean, my execution AIHS as well, I think was a little bit emotionally fueled. I think it was okay, but I think it could have been better. I think today needs a review session on my own time. So the number is green, but the process wasn't fully executed. Thanks, Kingman. Yeah, I think I did okay on that last trade. I think the entry was good. I got in for the break of 12. Stop would have been 1175. It was a bit too quick for me to say it on stream, but I was thinking stop is 1175 because, or maybe I did. I don't remember what I said my stop was on stream, if I did say it at all. But my stop probably would have been a breakdown of high of day. That breakout or bailout mindset. It worked immediately in my favor, so I might not have even had to say a stop out loud. But I think maybe I would have scaled out a little bit more if I did see that ascending resistance earlier. Probably taken half instead of just a third up at 1350. If I had taken another, another 6 shares, I miss out on like another dollar and 6 shares. Or if so, 1/3, I took 6 shares off, it would be 14 left. A third of 14 is like just under 5 shares. It'd be like 4 more shares. Yeah, not that big of a deal. Reconsider my layout and software. What do you think I should change? How is Ross able to grow a small account so much? He uses 95% of his buying power in every single trade, and he's got 20 years of experience. I don't think he used I don't think he used leverage in this small account challenge. I think he just used all of his cash buying power. But if he grows at 10% per day, that compounds very quickly. if you have 2,000 bucks and you grow it 10% per day, right? It doesn't take very long to grow it to 60,000. Yeah, he's using a margin account because he can. So what you're saying is that he's not using leverage, but he can trade multiple times per day. Like he's using a margin account so he can trade and compound on his trades throughout the day, right? So if he gets 10% in one trade, then he can still trade in the same day with that 10% gain and then still use 95% of his buying power. So he can compound it throughout the day as well, right? So he's not using a cash account. He's using a margin account, but he's not using leverage in that margin account. Because the difference between a cash and a margin account is that a cash account you can only take like maybe one trade per day if you use all your buying power, right? Yeah, exactly. So yeah, he's using a margin account in that challenge, but he's not using any leverage. He's not borrowing. Yeah, in Canada, we're not restricted by the PDT rule, so that doesn't affect us. But in the US, the PDT rule means that you have to do a margin account in order to take multiple trades per day. Um, Even if you're not using the leverage in that margin account, it doesn't matter. You still need the margin account in order to take multiple trades per day with your buying power. Yeah, he has done straight cash before too, but he said before that he doesn't like doing them because nobody watches them. People don't like watching the slow molasses of one trade per day. Well, I mean, so people who say it's not replicable, like Eli says it's not replicable. The one Lance B recently released a video that said that it's not really like small account challenges or BS. And you know, I agree with some things and I disagree with other things. Um, I think what Lance said is accurate in a way, and that if someone who is unaware of the risks of trading, they might go and try to start a one account challenge and use 90% of their buying power, and that's not really how you should be trading. But it's for someone who is already consistently profitable and they want to push themselves to their limits. Sure, they could do a small account challenge and they could try to replicate it. But I think for most people, it's probably not smart to try and grow an account by using 90% of their buying power unless whatever they're using, like for example, if they're putting in $2,000 to start a margin account and $2,000 is peanuts to them, they don't care if they lose it and they just want to grow it. There are some risk reward rules that you can still use, like to grow the account if you're already a profitable trader. But I mean, it doesn't really make sense if you're already a profitable trader and you've already grown your account, then why would you start an account challenge except for content? Like, like it is replicable by certain people, but why would you replicate it is my question. Like what is the purpose of doing a 90% buying power on a small account if you're not like if you're not consistently profitable, and if you are consistently profitable, then you should already have your account built up. And for someone like me who is on the precipice of being consistently profitable, like would I use 95% of my buying power in every trade? I don't think so. Because like I like it could affect my emotions if I use 90% of my buying power and I make a mistake and I suddenly lose a quarter, that could be the difference between me steadily growing my account and gaining confidence and then suddenly going on a spiral. I'm not really sure about it. Like size is all about psychology. If your strategy has a consistent edge and you can perform on it consistently, right? Then it doesn't really matter what share size you're trading with. The only reason why it would matter maybe is if your drawdown is going to be bigger than what your account can handle, because it is entirely possible mathematically to have several losses in a row. And if your drawdown is really, really large because you're trading with your maximum buying power every single trade, like that can potentially be devastating for your account. It's not big enough to handle the drawdown, right? That is a factor. Even if you trade perfectly, the market could still hand you a big L. Doesn't matter. So, like, I understand that if you have a consistent edge and consistent profitability, that share size is just a matter of psychology and executing consistently. But at the same time, we are human. How many of us can handle going into a 50% drawdown without, it affecting our performance? Thanks, Fukuro. And so, I mean, small account challenges in a way, I kind of feel like are for people who can handle blowing up their account, even if they trade perfectly, because they have more money on the side. They can just refund it and do it again, and probably next time it's going to work because they're not going to run into whatever unfortunate circumstances that they had in the previous account, and they can grow it enough that the drawdowns, before they have a real drawdown. But Ross in his big account doesn't trade with 90% of his buying power in every single trade. Like if he did, then like eventually he would have well, I mean he would have liquidity issues, but eventually it would blow up in his face. So in a certain way, small account challenges are kind of unrealistic in that sort of way. But I don't know. Just thinking out loud. Some guy mentioned Gapwire yesterday. Okay. Um, so Amira earlier said that I should reconsider my layout and software, and I was I was waiting for a response. If you're still here, Amira, and you didn't hear my question, I was curious what you think that how my layout and software should change. Because if I have more options, I would like I would like to know them myself. But uh, Gapwire, I'll make a note on the side to look at it. Yeah, I haven't seen it yet, so I'll take a look later. Take a million shares of a small company, own the whole company. Yeah. I think I should change. I would love to change the center point. I was thinking about that the other day, actually, because I had to remap my freaking keyboard so that I could remap my enter button to left click because I was having issues with the execution on Trade Zero. I was thinking like, what would it really cost me if I opened up a Centerpoint account right now? And I realized that the $30,000 account minimum is $30,000 USD. So I would need more than 30,000. I would need to deposit like 42,000 Canadian just to use Centerpoint. I cannot deposit that kind of money into an account. And someone let me know that I might be able to phone Centerpoint, have them reduce the account minimum requirement by a little bit, like maybe 15,000. But I would still, that's still like depositing $20,000 into an account to be able to use it. I would only do that at the point where I've proven some consistent profitability and I want to start sizing up a little bit. But Centerpoint is a goal for me for sure. And Webull using the Turbo Trader widget. I mean, what is the Turbo Trader widget? Design, like, modify, close stocks, options, or futures orders, fast execution. The problem that I have is that TradeZero Canada doesn't have, like, are you using Webull US or Webull Canada? Hmm. I mean, I'll look at it again, but is it really worth giving up my access to advanced hotkeys and then the Webull level 2 is like a price ladder, and then the Webull time and sales uh, is isn't live. It's not real time, so it doesn't like it refreshes at 1 second intervals. So I don't know if it would be worth giving that up. I'll look into it though. Thanks for the input. I mean, it really sucks being in Canada, I'm gonna be honest. Like I don't even like having to look at this stuff for like weird widgets and all that and whatever. I would love to just trade with Lightspeed and just pay the fees, or trade with another well-known broker that has everything that I want because I can afford it. I don't really care about the costs. I consider them a part of my education tuition. It's just frustrating. But it is what it is. I can't imagine how like uh, some people feel trading internationally when they want to be a trader and they're forced to trade with IBKR though. At least I don't have to trade with IBKR. WXM's curling up again right before the open. We're only 2.5 minutes to market open here. It's curling back up to that 1173 level. I think I'm kind of done with it though. Like this is the third time that it's rejected now. Even when it's broken through high of day, it's jackknifed all the way down. I think that this isn't the right stock to touch anymore. Like I have no idea what it's gonna do. Rubbing it in, are we, Robbie? Thanks. No, I even emailed Lightspeed and I asked them like, "Are you willing to accept a Canadian?" And they said no, and I was sad. Yep, it's sad, but it is what it is. If I get some profitability and I can build up an account, um, and be self-employed and quit my job, probably would look to move to the US eventually. So this is exactly why I didn't want to trade this here. All right, we have no idea what it's gonna do. It popped through there and then just jackknifed. And now it's coming back up. Like it's like what is it gonna do? I have no idea. And if I don't know what it's gonna do, Like if I can't predict what it's going to do, then how do I know which direction it's going? Right? That's one of the points that um, Livingston makes in Reminiscence of a Stock Operator. Wait for the right time, and if you don't know what it's doing, if you can't predict what it's doing, then you don't. How do you know which way it's gonna go? I have no idea what this is gonna do. After having this gigantic jackknife there, back there, back there. 3 minutes to market open. Pops up, sells off, pops back up into a halt. Where's this going to resume? I have no idea where it's going to resume. It could resume all the way back down at 10. Look, it's already resuming at 11. It's resuming below where it halted at. Well, prefer a brief second there. I have no idea where it's going to resume. Chinese stock with no news. So, I mean, is there anything else at the open here that I would consider? I don't think so. Top 5 gainers are all penny stocks. FRTT came all the way back down. Go to Puerto Rico. I mentioned Puerto Rico to one of my friends living in the US, and he said, "Why would you move there? That place is a crap hole." He said, "Come to Texas." They don't accept Canadian citizens. That's shocking. Why is that? Because US brokers need to register with uh it is a shithole. That's funny. Because US brokers need to register with the Canadian Investment Regulatory Organization and pay fees in order to allow Canadians to open up accounts with them. So a lot of US brokers aren't willing to do that because there's a lot of regulatory bull crap they need to go through with CIRO. So that's why. They can't open accounts with Canadian citizens unless they're registered with the organization. With the resumption price, WXM, it's on the screen there. It's 1183 right now. It's resuming at 935.34. Probably. I should go to Texas. Yeah, I probably would go to Texas if I could. For their brisket barbecue. Oh man, we don't have anything like that here. Give me some good old brisket barbecue. All right, have a good one, Chimera. Big green to big red. Uh-oh. All right, have a good one, Eli. Austin is awesome. Are any of you Canadians who have moved to the US? So, like, do you have any experience with actually moving to the US and know what regulations there are and stuff? Because from what I'm aware, it's very difficult to actually become, like, get a green card unless you're working a job there that is part of a list of jobs that they're looking for. Like, for example, I'm an accountant, and I think accounting is technically a part of that, but I don't really want to get an accounting job if I were to move there because my work-life balance would be shot. Because most accounting jobs are like very busy. Yeah, difficult. Mm. Yeah, look at this insanity. Sells off, pops up, halts up, resumes, goes down, almost goes into a halt down, bounces off that level, comes back up, false halt. Like, what is it going to do now? If this gives me a 1 minute pattern, I would consider it, but never mind. We're not considering it anymore. Looking back at chat. Hmm. I think we're just going to lock up the $26 Green Day. So, bigger than yesterday's loss, so we're just slightly green on the week. But I think my execution today left a lot to be desired. I could have gotten much better trade on the very first trade on AIHS and that micro pullback, but I think I scaled out too early because I was jittery in the morning. I think that was an emotional scale out. And then it popped all the way up to 4, and I could have taken some profit up there instead. And then my second trade on AIHS, probably if I go look back at the VOD, I bet you that there was I don't think I was watching level 2 closely enough. I think probably there would have been an ask on the seller for an exit indicator, and I probably could have had a better trade on the second trade on AIHS as well. I think my third trade on WXM was good, but there was some ascending resistance in the way that I should have been maybe scaled back out and drawn on the 5 minute chart earlier. I probably would have taken half profits up at ascending resistance instead of just the third. So I think today probably could have been like a $40 Green Day. Just based on execution. But at least we're green, which is good. Have a good one, human. But I'm not interested in trading this nonsense. Down, up, down, up, down. Where is it gonna go next? Up. So I'm just gonna get out of here. I'll be back at it again, 7 a.m. Eastern Time tomorrow, as per usual. But until then, take care, stay green. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.